Hello everybody, I am Abby Burning and welcome to my next video. This video is about last night. Last night would have been Saturday night. I went out with friends and it was all great, and I was starting to get a little nervous at the end of the night because it's like getting really late and the subways don't run all night, and so I was really nervous that I wouldn't make my subway in time. But anyway, this was in Hongdae, and we ended up getting to Hongdae Station, which is absolute chaos. If you've never been there, it's absolute chaos. And so I got on my Line 2 subway I got there in time, so it was all good. And I went to my stop where I would have to transfer to my line. So I'm not living on Line 2, I'm living on a different line. So I got to the transfer point and I ran to get to my other subway because I knew that my line was not, trains didn't come by as often as they do for Line 2, and so I ran and I was worried. It was almost midnight, and so I ran. And on the TV where it says like how many more minutes your train will get there, I saw one direction the train would be in 4 minutes, the other direction the train was like 10 seconds from arriving at the station, and I was still like 30 seconds away from that train, and I was like, oh shoot. Like, I didn't really pay attention to which train that was. I was just hoping it wasn't my train that was already there. It was. So I got down there. I missed the train by like 30 seconds, as I said, and then I was like waiting for the next train. There wasn't another train coming on the screen where it shows you like where the next train is, and I was like, oh please, please. And then one of the subway workers called out, there are no more trains this evening, or that was the last train, or something like that, and I was just kind of staring at him in shock, like, what? Like, did I hear you right? And then some other Korean girl, maybe she thought I didn't understand, she called out in English. She was like kind of far away, so she called out in English, there are no more trains. And then at that point I was just like, shoot, what am I gonna do? Like, I'm not super far away from home. I was only 3 subway stops away, which honestly isn't terrible, but it was very inconvenient. So 3 subway stops away from my house. I'm stranded at this subway station, not really sure what to do, but I start walking up toward the exit. So I went to one of the bus stops, and one of the bus numbers I recognized, but I knew it would not go anywhere near where I needed to go, so that was great. And then none of the other bus numbers I recognized going anywhere in my area. So I was like, okay, so riding a bus isn't an option. And so I figured my only option of getting home would be taking a taxi. And surprisingly enough, I've never actually taken a taxi here in Seoul by myself before, not since getting back to Korea last fall. I've never taken a taxi, so I was like, okay, well, I'll try downloading Kakao Taxi and request a taxi. Kakao Taxi kind of works like Uber. I think Uber's illegal in Korea, so Kakao Taxi is the way to go. And so I did all my information and I clicked request a taxi, and I waited, it said it was calling a taxi, and then it said, sorry, we can't find a taxi, or our taxis are busy, or something like that. And I was like, I tried it 2 more times, still no success. So I was like, maybe Kakao Taxi doesn't work this late because it's after midnight at this point. Anyway, I tried calling a few taxis like from the street. Some of them stopped, and I was like, can you take me to blah blah yok, my station? I asked them if they could take me to my station, and they were like, no, I don't go there, like in Korean, but they were like, no, I don't go there. And I was like, what do you mean you don't go there? Like, I looked it up, it's like 2 miles from here, 2 miles. What do you mean you don't go here? Like, you don't go there? Like, what? Anyway, so I tried that. Like, I just tried hailing taxis for like 10 minutes, and they would either just drive by, maybe they had a customer, maybe they had a customer request them and they were getting a specific customer, or if they stopped, they said they don't go to my station, which I was just like, why? It's 2 miles away from here. And then at one point I was just like, oh gosh, okay, how about I just walk home? It's only 2 miles. I mean, it may be like freezing cold. I may be dying here. It's freezing cold. And so whatever. I tried opening up my map to get the directions and try to walk home, and like right away I was just like super confused. And so I was like, am I on the right street or am I not? And then at one point, like, I thought I was going the right way, but my arrow showed like I had to make like this big loop, and I was like, what the heck? Where am I going? Like, why is this not working? And of course, I don't have unlimited data here, and so this whole map thing was eating up my data. So it's like, okay, this is not good. So I walked back to the station and I was just like, crap. And at that point, I was just like, what do I do? None of these taxis are letting me get in. Like, why? Do I need to like use this app for the taxis to work? But then I'm using this app and none of the taxis are responding to me. So it's like, how do I get a dang taxi? And so eventually I called my boyfriend, who was also on his way home, and I was like, can you call a taxi for me, because this is ridiculous. I've been at this station standing in the freezing cold for 40 minutes at this point, and I just want to get home. It's like 12:40 in the morning. It's like, gosh, what the heck? And so he called a taxi, and he was like, okay, this guy will be coming. He sent me the screenshot of the guy's license plate and the guy's face and whatever, taxi driver. And then he canceled. And I was like, what the heck? Like, why is getting from this station to my station, 2 mile difference, such a struggle? And I was like, what the heck? Finally, just like a miracle happened, and one taxi driver stopped for me. And I didn't even like call him this time. He just kind of saw me standing there, like looking all pathetic. And then he just came up and he stopped and rolled down the window. And I was like, do you go to my station? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, it's okay. And he was like, yeah, get in. And I was like, thank you. I can go home, finally. And so I got in, and he took me to my station, thankfully, got out, I thanked him like crazy, thanked him, and then he was like, you are welcome. Actually, he didn't say you're welcome, he just took my money and left. But then anyway, so it was really great. I got home, and I did some research about this whole taxi situation in Korea, and why the heck they refused to pick me up for a destination that's 2 miles away. And I found some interesting facts about that. First of all, I found out it's illegal for them to do that. And second of all, it's because my destination was too close for the taxi driver to consider a worthwhile amount of payment. I was like, really? Like, you just refuse people because their destination is too close? Like, what the heck? Like, this was a thing, guys. It says it's most likely to happen on the weekends after midnight, which, lucky me, that's the point in time where I was at. I can't really find like the reason why. A customer's a customer. I mean, you're gonna get paid. It's better than just to keep driving around trying to find a customer. Like, you have a paying customer, you know? Oh, here we go. I found some sort of explanation because, I don't know, I found this website, KoreaForExpats.com, where they talk about taxi drivers refusing customers, and here's what it says. It says, refusing passengers is not uncommon. Some drivers will refuse a fare if the person is only going a short distance. They would rather keep driving around fareless for some unfathomable reason. I'm glad I'm not the only one who's insanely confused about this. As of October 2013, Seoul taxi drivers may be charged a 200,000 won fine that's like $200 for refusing to pick up passengers or refusing passengers going a short distance only. It looks like there's a number you can call to report these taxi drivers. I didn't know this was an issue at the time. You can call the Daesan call center by calling 120 and pressing 9 for foreign language service. So yeah, that's something new about Korea I learned last night. So if you, I don't know, maybe this happens in other parts of Korea. If you live in another part of Korea and you know of this happening, then let me know, because it's quite interesting. Or if you live in Seoul and you have some interesting stories about your time when this happened, let me know. Quite interesting. So thank you again to that very kind taxi driver. You are like the 1 in 10 probably. But anyway, that's all I have for today for you. So I will see you next time.